Welcome back to the podcast. Today's episode comes to you from the vibrant town of Maryport on the west coast of Cumbria. I met up with Anne Sowerby, the powerhouse behind Sassy Property Styling. Now let me tell you, when we first met, the rains had been coming down in sheets all day. Thankfully, by the time we hit record, the skies had cleared. It was a bit windy, but it was perfectly fine to take a walk and have a chat. Anne's career is nothing short of extraordinary. By the age of 22, she was running her own toy shop, and since then went on to be the town centre manager, to meeting Dionne Warwick, to setting up her own interior design business. The list goes on. Anne also opened up about being diagnosed with dyslexia at the age of 30, which completely changed how she approached learning. From tips on why greys and blacks are the new neutrals to the crucial difference between house and home, Anne's got a pile of wisdom to share with us. And of course, not forgetting she's a multi-award winner in her field. So jackets on, earpods in, and join us as we take a walk around Maryport, chatting about design, life, and everything in between. Hi, Anne.
Hello, hi, nice to see you.
Nice to see you. How are you?
I'm fine. I hope you're enjoying the weather because it's beautiful today now.
It is now, yeah. The whole day's been pretty horrific, hasn't it?
It has, yes. It's like the 1st of July and it looks like November.
Yeah, I know. It's shocking. As I was driving through the lakes, it was just pouring it down. And I was thinking, oh no, what are we going to do?
Yeah, but anyway, we've ordered it especially, so it's lovely on the coast of the Irish Sea.
Of the Irish Sea, and it's absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Maryport for 10 years, I think.
Yeah, no, it is a hidden gem. There's a lot going on now. It's a lot more interesting, more food places, more cafes and things like that. So I think hopefully in the next few years it might come into its own. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And so are you born and brought up from Maryport?
I'm not from Maryport,
right.
Even though I've worked here over the years for quite a few times. Mm-hmm. I was born near Respectria.
Okay.
I was born in a little town, a little village called Langrig, and my family had a business there and rented a building from the local farmer.
Mm-hmm. And sorry, I got distracted. That's the one thing about being outdoors, you get distracted by the things you're seeing. So your parents were farmers, did you say?
No. My parents had an agricultural suppliers, mm-hmm. and they sold a various amount of equipment and Wellingtons and stuff for sheep drench and all sorts of different things to keep farmers in business.
Yeah.
Across the northwest, of Cumbria, mm-hmm. And then they sort of spread out as time went on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what they did.
And have you moved away from the area at all?
Not really, no. I've done because it's obviously quite a big county. I've done a bit of a loop round. I lived in Maryport and I lived in a little village called Plumland and now live near Wigton again.
Oh, okay.
And I used to live at Kirkbampton, so I have moved the whole area. But I've come back to where I went to school, which is my husband thinks is hilarious because everybody knows me.
Oh, that's good. There's something nice about that.
There is, it is nice. Yeah. I feel like I'm sort of got a place again now, really, particularly since my parents and everybody are gone now. Yeah. It's quite nice to have some local connections.
It makes you feel at home, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, someone said something recently to me when I was talking about my podcast and saying it was all about community and the people who make our communities what they are.
Yes,
and
definitely.
She said the community isn't a home without the people that make it up. I thought that was lovely.
Yeah. A house is only bricks and mortar. It's definitely who lives within it, and with villages and communities, that's exactly the same.
Yeah, it's the human connection that's everything.
That's right.
Yeah. So in terms of your Entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Which is how we've got to know each other through the Pink Link Network.
That's right, yeah.
Do you want to share a bit about how your journey to get to where you are?
Yes. I left school with no qualifications and worked for the family business for a few years. But then my mum had sold out of the business to her business partner.
Yeah.
And so I started a toy shop. So I've always done entrepreneurial things. So I did that for 5 years. So it was great. I played every day for 5 years.
Was that with your mum then?
No. Well, I actually just did it on my own, which when I look back, I think, oh my goodness, I was 22 and started my own business.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing.
But I did love it. It was great. It was so lovely.
And at the time, did you, obviously you wouldn't have understood how big a step that was.
No, it's only now when I look back, I think, oh my goodness, it really was a brave thing to do, to go and work for yourself.
But I guess if that's all you've known through your family, then that makes sense.
Yeah, that's right. And then I've sort of done a variety of things, but all probably on the same basis of business and development and marketing, and so when you think there is a common theme of everything I've done, but mixed in that is the property side to how I've got to where I've got to. So I was a town centre manager, and I ran a Dissington Wall Garden, which was a community project that did training, and I developed that. The development, the training in 1999. I went for the job there. At that point I was married to a dairy farmer, and my family were market gardeners in Lancashire.
So perfect.
So and I had a background in business and selling and stuff, so I went to develop it. So that's what I went to, and then eventually I just took the whole site and became the manager of everything.
Oh wow.
And we got £70,000 worth of funding, which 4 years ago.
It's a lot.
It's quite a lot of money.
That's a lot.
Did it all up, put the past, put it back, made it more like a Victorian garden.
Okay.
And they still did a lot of training at the time.
Yeah.
And then after that, I got to the stage where I felt I'd done what I'd come to do, and I moved on, and that's when I became a town centre manager.
Okay. And then this was it Dissington? Dissington.
Yes, which is near Lily Hall in between, just outside of Workington.
Oh, okay. And you were saying that you can still see the wall?
Yes, you can. You can go, and there's a cafe there, and you can go in, so which I'm delighted at. I think it's nice if you do something, and then it has a legacy and it continues.
I was just going to say legacy. That's
awesome.
And
I painted some of the murals on the walls, and it's quite nice that they're still there. So that's quite nice as well.
That's lovely.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah.
And so, what does a town manager do?
I ran a host of festivals and really just tried to get economic development and regeneration into the town.
Okay.
You encouraged, people to come, spend their money. I had a tourism partnership where everybody put some money in to pay for joint marketing campaigns.
Yeah.
Just did a huge range of things, but with the town centre manager in Maryport, I actually booked Dionne Warwick for £23,000. They had a big blues festival, and she came, and we had Elkie Brooks another year, and we before I came, I can't think of the guy's name who does the New Year's Eve concert.
Jules Holland.
Jules Holland,
wow.
He came.
Amazing.
So there's been some fantastic, blues. So it's a shame, really, because they sort of lost their footing, and probably COVID just finished them all.
Okay.
And then, unfortunately, Kendall Calling came, and they had it the same weekend, which seemed absolutely bonkers. It just seemed so unfair to do that.
Yeah.
But anyway, it wasn't anything to do with me. And so it's sort of, I think they have a sort of a mini one, but it's nothing like. And they have a sea festival now, which is nice, and that's got quite a lot of food and that kind of stuff. So I think that's sort of taken over. But it's been tough times with COVID and things. So and then I did it in Whitehaven and did the same, and I had a massive big Christmas fair there with about 9,000 people come in, and live camels and things like that. That was amazing. So so I've done. You don't realise how much I know about festivals. I know an awful lot about running a festival. And
where do you get all these ideas from?
I like thinking outside the box. It's
naturally creative.
That's right. So the creative side's the bit I like, really.
Yeah.
So I suppose that's how come I ended up getting to deciding after being a business consultant, because I kept being made redundant.
Yeah.
Even though everybody wanted me to carry on, nobody could ever actually find the extra bit of funding, which was very disappointing.
Yeah.
And afterwards, they admitted to themselves that it was the wrong thing. They should have
kept you on.
Yeah. Anyway.
And did you get training on the job, or how did that
I did.
work?
Well, yeah, and I also did quite a few things. So for all I left school with no qualifications, it was because I was terribly dyslexic. But I eventually did a diploma. I did a certificate in management. I then did a diploma in business performance coaching with NLP.
Okay.
And then I've got MVQ level 4 in business advice. So, I got mine at the back end rather than front. But for me, that's the best way, because it was like distance learning and doing it with modules, which is much better for me than actually doing it formal education, because it's just not suited for people who are dyslexic.
And you said you didn't get assessed as dyslexic till your 30s.
Well, only because I paid for it to be done.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
No, never at all. Nobody ever actually assessed at any point, and ever did I actually get. And when we realise now, my brother's got 9 O-levels but no English. My mum had dyslexia. We were all dyslexic.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I always laugh that somebody said, "Oh, did you play Scrabble in your house?" And I just started laughing. I said, "No, with a house full of dyslexic people, Scrabble was not on our list. We played Monopoly, surprise."
Oh, surprise, yeah.
Yeah.
Family of entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Funny, So what prompted you to get tested?
Well, when I did the course at the college, my friend was working there, and she tested me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's.
And what were you working at at the time?
I think it was at the Wall Garden, so it's 24 years ago. So
wow.
So because she tested me because she thought that I was. I didn't score as in like 99. It was about 89 because I was old enough to work out some of the solutions. But if I'd been tested when I was young, I would have been 100%.
Really,
you know what I mean? Yeah. It's only because you were old enough to be able to answer some of the questions because of the knowledge you had, rather than the fact that, you know what I mean.
So have you found that you're a lot kinder to yourself?
Well, to be very honest, what I have done is told other people.
Right.
Now that I have my interior business, I actually write on the bottom, "Please excuse my reports," because you actually employ me to do your designs, not write your reports.
Yeah.
And people are really kind about it, because when you get emails off me, sometimes they're a bit odd, and they'll say that. But now, people just accept it, because I don't need to be able to write well to tell you what you need to do in your house, and I can run spreadsheets and bring a whole team of people in, no problem whatsoever. So they're the skills that are important to that person, rather than the fact that it's a beautifully written report.
Yeah, exactly.
I do have other people who check stuff and things though sometimes, and the same with marketing and stuff. I get people to read them, you know what I mean, for me.
And so what was the trigger point for leaving? Obviously you were made redundant and you were thinking about a change of course anyway.
I had an accident in 2011 and unfortunately I ended up cutting one tendon in my little finger, 17 stitches in an operation at Freeman at RVI, at the plastic surgery unit. And I couldn't use my hand for 3 months because it's one of the worst things you can do is to do a tendon, because you can't stretch it, but you can't even pick a bag up, push the bin, nothing. So I decided that if I didn't do what I really wanted to, and in the meantime of all of the things that I've done, Steve, I divorced my first husband, and I then met somebody else playing tennis, funny enough, at Maryport. And because I played for Maryport at that point.
Oh, did you?
And, and
there's so many little bits to you.
There is, And so I met Steve, and we did properties and had houses and started flipping them more. So that was something that we did. Oh, hello.
A bit of development.
Yeah. So, hi. So so that's how. So I love it, and even when I was married to at the farm, I had a green kitchen in the 80s that was all wooden painted and things like that. So I did always was really interested, made my own curtains. I loved doing anything design wise. So it was just a natural progression that I really would always wanted to be an interior designer.
Yeah.
But I knew that we live in such a rural place as Cumbria. You can't just really do interior design. So that's when I trained, and I trained to be a house doctor. So I trained under Anne Maurice, American lady who had a TV programme.
And how did you find out about her?
I'd always sort of seen her programmes, was really interested.
Right.
And I sort of just started doing some research and found that they did a course.
Yeah.
And they were interested in me doing it because I had a business acronym, I had a business background.
Yeah.
They have a lot of people who think, oh, yes, this is lovely.
Yeah.
You come with your 2 quilts and your 2 cushions and your 2 lamps and put them out and it's all fluffy and cute.
Yeah.
But actually, interior design, there's so much more hard work behind the scenes that goes on. The design side's only a little bit at the end.
Yeah, and it's how to run a business as well, isn't it?
So they were really interested. So I did the course quite quickly. Right. And then I had 18 months to do, you had to do so many case studies and they marked them before you were able to say you were a house doctor consultant. So I did that. So I did more house staging to begin with, but as time went on, I realised that actually I was quite good at doing interior design as well.
Okay.
So I just do loads of interior design as well, and it's just come along as it's gone along, really.
So what does house staging mean?
House staging is you dress a property to make it as advantageous as you can to get as many people through the door. So it's to make it pretty, or install furniture if it's empty,
make it enticing to whoever wants it. And is that just houses that are going on the market, or
I do it for anybody really, because I do Airbnbs and holiday homes and everything, because it's the same principle whether it's a holiday home or whether it's a your own home. Yeah. But I also do staging in both empty houses, but also houses where people live, and a lot of people don't. It's just might be windy this way.
That's okay. So you could come to my house.
Yes.
And you could I could show you my lounge, and you could come up with ideas for how to make it more functional.
And also what a lot of people do is if you buy a house, they move in and they put the furniture where somebody else has had their furniture.
Yeah.
And that's
you see the marks on the carpet. Yeah.
And I've been in people's houses where I've actually gone, you do realise your sofa's in the wrong place. Yeah. And swapped it round, and they've gone, I can't believe this. I just can't believe, even by just doing that, how it's changed the room. And the other one that people do is they redesign the kitchen and make it the same as it was before. And often it's like, no, don't do it again. Don't. And I mean, a kitchen designer don't get paid enough to go, actually, this is totally wrong. Yeah. They often just plonk it back in the same place as it was before.
Because it might be easier.
Well, it's just, everything's where it was. So, so it's quite interesting to...
That's hilarious. So in terms of the kitchen design, then you get people kind of just changing the look but keeping the layout the same,
that's right. Yeah, that's right. And it's like, what are you doing? That this isn't right, this design isn't right, or makes it look really narrow, and they want a breakfast bar in the middle, and it's like, well, this kitchen isn't big enough, you're going to end up wandering around all the other way. I've worked for people where it was so big, you had to walk, if you forgot the salt, had to walk like half a mile to get to sit down, and then you had to walk back again. So you know what I mean? Just crazy, some of the things people do.
I've always found with houses I've lived in, it's always better to live in it for a while to understand how you're using the space before you commit to anything. Yeah,
but you see, I can stop that, because I can come in and work it out straight away. Okay. Yeah. So if you're doing it yourself, that's fine. But if you want somebody to make it right, because also sometimes it's harder to move in than start doing it. It's often a lot easier to not live there for 3 months, do it all up, and then have it all done. And then that's it.
Yeah, and then there's no disruption.
That's right, so that's the other side of it. But
so what are the key things in terms of if I invite you to my house for a consult, what are the key things you're looking at to start with?
Is how you live.
Okay.
Your tastes. What drives you? How do you live? Do you have 6 children? Do you have no children? Do you have loads of pets? Do you not? How do you live? Do you work at home? All of those things. Because I often get asked, what's your design taste? Now, if I was Karen Hoppen, you might have a design taste that people buy into. But a normal...
people don't, though,
no.
do they?
But also is that you can't possibly have one taste and your taste fit that person.
Yeah.
So I pride myself on really listening.
Yeah.
You know, at the moment I'm working with a young man who's about, I don't know, I haven't actually asked him, but he's around about 30, I would say, 28, 30.
Okay.
And sadly his parents died and he's inherited quite a lot of money.
Yeah.
So with him, it's about designing a house that's designed for this young man who wants to live and have it really nice. And he's bought a beautiful new modern house that's actually quite a nice design one in Carlisle, with a really nice little estate. And he knew he wanted to get it right, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, my taste is not going to be like a young man who games.
Yeah.
So I pride myself on, you know, what he likes and how he likes it, and so it's just really
into his shoes.
Yeah, that's right. So I spend a lot of time working out what they might like.
Yeah.
And then when the house is finished, it's what they want.
Yeah.
You know, so I enjoy that because it's just really nice. Because somebody said, do you like interior design or home? I said, I like home staging best because I come and create it and then nobody makes it a mess.
Yeah.
I said, if you do interior design, you go back and then they live in it. And it's like, no, it shouldn't be like this. In the nicest possible way.
The vision's gone.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, often they don't. I mean, I do have people, I mean, I've done staging jobs where we have bought things, they've lived in the house, and then they've asked me to come back when they've moved and reuse everything because they've bought it.
Right.
So it's all brand new, basically.
Yeah.
So I then help them to make their new house.
Oh, that's good.
So I've done that a few times as well.
Customers.
I mean, I'm very grateful because I've had a lot of repeat customers and people who've come back to me for other things since. So you know, that's when you hope that you really have done a good job for people when they actually ask you to do more jobs for them.
So how many properties would you do at one go? How many do you take on?
It just depends on what they are because interior design can take quite a big piece of time. Yeah. And then home staging you usually do within a few weeks, unless there's a time frame for a month or two or whatever. Yeah. So I quite like that lovely mix. Yeah. To do that. Yeah. So so it's just a case of and I think now I probably can probably stage about 4 or 5 houses at a time with my stuff, and then if they're like a show home, well, I can buy furniture and put that in as well. Right. So I'm probably I've got a team now that come and install and who follow me around, who have a removal company. Oh, okay. So I think now I can do a lot more, you know. So do you keep like certain bits of pieces of furniture in a warehouse somewhere for staging? Half of it's in houses at the moment, and then the other is I have a guy who has a storage company at Workington now, but he goes all over the country. So you know we can move it up to Scotland or down into the lakes or Lancashire easy. Yeah. So he comes and I have an app called Sortly. Okay. And it has an inventory of all of my stuff. So I would put all the things that I want him to take in a list. Yeah. And then email it to him, and then he has a list with pictures of all of the things that I want. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of the things we've used so much that some things are quite classic. Yeah. So we know the names of them, and particularly the guy who works for Andrew's brilliant. Yeah. And he's the one that goes, "Oh, Anna, we're taking the Morgan chair and things," and we know what that is, you know. Yeah. Oh, that's good. And so, how do you manage changing fashions? Very lucky. Yeah. After a few times of using them, invariably people then want to buy some of the things. Okay. So I sell it all to somebody who's moving into a house. Right. And then that gives me a fresh start. Yeah. So some things wear out. Yeah. Mirrors, lampshades, and pictures are the things that wear out. Right. They get broken. Right. They're hopeless. because they're quite fragile. So they're the three things that, and also because fashions change, they're the things that actually, because they break, you buy new ones, but it actually makes it have a fresh look. Yeah. So cushions and things, and also is what people's palettes like. So if you go to a house and it's a Victorian house and it's all creams, it's going to look totally different than if you go to another house that has all greys and blacks and taupe colours, you know. So each time you do it, and believe it or not, you can put the same furniture in 3 houses, different styles of houses, and the stuff looks totally different. Yeah, it's amazing.
You can see the way your face lights up, how much you love it.
I do absolutely love it. Yeah, I do. It just is my dream job. I just absolutely love doing my job.
What is it? What would be the top 3 things that give you the most satisfaction?
Yeah, I think I like it when you turn the key and it's done, and you can leave it for the person, and then they can sell it quite quickly. You know, that's one side. But I think whoever I work for, it's the fact that you've listened to what they want. And you know,
you've nailed the brief.
That's right. You know, so I think that's it.
Have you ever said no to someone if they put forward one of their ideas?
Sometimes you have to be quite tactful and suggest that no, that isn't right. One of my with staging houses, one of my pet ones is, I'm not changing that. I had one man who wanted to keep the dining room as a children's dress playroom. And I said, I have no children. If I came to buy your £1 million house, I would not want a children's dressing room. I would want a dining room. And actually, when I went away, his wife went, she's absolutely right. You can't do this. Now, I think we could walk that way if you want. And they sold their house for £1 million not long, and he was really awkward. He was one of the most awkward men I've ever worked for. Every opportunity, and I almost think it was he didn't like change at all, and so it really wasn't anything to do with me. I think it was just he couldn't cope with change.
That is hard. You kind of it's actually quite a personal space you're entering, isn't it? If you're selling the house, a lot of people really struggle with letting go.
Well, that's right.
To show it their way.
And also is that they get hooked on. I had one gentleman, I mean, he was getting divorced or something, so he didn't end up using me, but he was saying, I don't like those chairs. And I went, I'm not being funny. I said, I don't like to be rude. I said, but you don't need to like the chairs. I said, all you're doing is showing it's a dining room. And he went, point taken. And he really made him think about it, because, you know, at the end of the day, all you're showing is that's a dining room, that's a lounge, and you're never going, and you're never going to suit everybody's taste. What you've got to do is make it neutral and nice enough that you can have somebody in their 20s or somebody in the 90s can see the space the same, and that's the key to it. You know.
So, what was the sort of key takeaways from your course? The house doctor course.
Accessorise up and neutralise down.
Neutralise down.
If you picture a brown or a black sofa, and you put red cushions on it, on a photo they look like blobs. If you had everything more neutral colours, so you had a creamier coloured sofa and creamier coloured or pale grey and greys, but the same principle, more neutral tones together, or even the black sofa had black throws and black accessories. You don't have pops, you have a more smooth look. It's more accessorised to be harmonious. And the other thing is, so if you have, say, pale green through the house, for argument's sake, you would have a plant pot that was pale green, and then pale green accessories or plants, and then so you would go through the house and tone it to be the same colour tones. And so from the moment you come in, you feel like you're in one space. What people do is they'll have a red bathroom and a green kitchen and a turquoise downstairs loo. So as you go around, this house shouts at you.
It's hectic,
and so that's definitely, so in a good old American accent, she would go, you need to tone it down and accessorize it up.
I love that. It's funny what you're saying about the bathrooms being like garish colours or whatever, or completely disconnected. Is there, what's your view on this sort of trend to move away from bathtubs?
I think the thing is that if you have a big house, there's still the rule of thumb is to have one.
Okay.
If you've only got a tiny house and it works to have a shower room, well, fine. But if you've got a family bathroom and a shower room in your ensuite, I would keep the bathtub.
Right.
Because there's still quite a lot of people who like having a bath.
Right, okay, so there is definitely a strong market for it.
Well, there is a market for it. It isn't in our house. My husband's 6'7". Have you ever tried to get in a bath at 6'7"? So there's no point in us having a bath at our house. But in our last town, we did put one in, much to his disgust.
Right.
But it was because we knew we were going to sell it. And the thing is the next people who came knew that you know, they could have a bath.
Yeah, exactly.
But there was 2 shower rooms, 2 big walk-in showers. So if you have a house that has multiple bathrooms, always keep one.
As a bathtub, keep a tub.
Yeah. Because the thing is if you have children or grandchildren or people to stay, young children like a bath.
Yeah, they do, that's true.
And you like to put them in the bath.
Yeah. And do you work with outdoor spaces at all?
I do, yes.
Oh, you do?
We've done quite a lot of decking over the last year. We've been doing a lot of composite decking, you know, where you come and you put it down that's you know, made of plastic stuff, so it has much more longevity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
And does that include extensions and indoors to outdoors type of living?
Yes, I've actually just done my own, actually, which has been a really nice experience. Yeah. And doing it for everybody else, it's been a real pleasure for the first time actually putting a big extension at home. So
that's nice.
I've loved that, and that is absolutely that. It's a outdoor space with a beautiful canopy outside that you can barbecue at any time. Yeah. With roof lights in it, and so it's been wonderful. But
nice.
But I have worked with people, and I have a team, and part of that team is an architect. So I work with a whole team: builders, joiners, plumbers,
and
electricians.
How was that journey of sourcing the tradespeople?
Well, I've actually picked them up over a few years, so I now have what I would say is a one-stop shop. Okay. So I have a range of people who we can go, and I coordinate what they do, and then we just work as a team, and just do it between us. It's so nice because I trust them all. Yeah. And you know that if you say, and they trust me. Yeah. So if I said to them, I'm coming to your house, we're going to do a refurb. Yeah. They will go, all right, okay. And then they'll give me a date and they'll all come together.
Oh, that's really nice.
You know, they
that's the dream, Anne.
Yeah. I work for a hotel in the Lake District, and the owner, who was a developer but owned it, he said to me, my trouble is I can never get in trades, but we'll never get an electrician. And I think he thought I was being a bit blasé with him. Oh, okay. And I said, that's not a problem. If you want an electrician next week, I'll get you one. Yeah. And he didn't really believe me, but 6 weeks later he did. Yeah. When the whole place was done.
It was all done to your plan.
Yeah, and he's had us back since. We've done more work for them.
That's amazing.
And they've actually now put it on the market.
Have they?
Yeah, and they definitely put it on the market for a lot more money because we've done it all up. Yeah.
So when you do interior designing, does that always convert to you doing the project management and finishing the job?
No, not always. I'm always careful because some people have their own decorators, some people have their own teams that they use. So no, sometimes it can be just doing the design side and then they use somebody else.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So just finalise the creative bit.
Yeah, or even oversee it. So I project manage, but only the things that I'm buying, not the other things. So if I'm helping somebody to pick the kitchen and bathrooms, but somebody else is installing them and say picking the flooring, I charge them a fee for them what I'm doing. Right. But if the building work and all that's being done by somebody else and that's nothing to do with me, you know what I mean? I do my part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that sounds good. So it's quite a mixed bag of offerings, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I think that's the thing is I would say probably now, I would say that I'm a property expert.
Yeah.
Meaning that I, can do a range of different things for, like the hotel we were talking about. They had staff quarters,
right,
and we replaced their shower into a big bathroom, their bath into a shower space.
Yeah.
So they took the bath.
Oh, okay, they took it out. Yeah.
So my team came.
Yeah.
And literally within 4 weeks, they all had been done.
Turned around. Wow.
Yeah. So.
And so when you remove things like that, do you scrap it or do you sell it or do you leave it to the owner?
I don't know what actually happened with that bath.
Yeah.
But everything else, I think they ended up getting skipped. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. And do you have customers who worry about sustainability and where the materials are coming from?
To be perfectly honest, I think in an ideal world you'd all like to say that.
Yeah.
But in reality is no.
No. Yeah. And is that something you're thinking about moving towards at all?
To be perfectly honest, in my own house, we've tried to make it as sustainable as we could.
Yeah.
With, I live in a Swedish-built timber-framed house.
Yeah.
So we could have just put block and breeze, but we actually made it match the original house.
Oh, okay.
So we've put as much insulation as we can in it and tried to make it as efficient as it can be.
Yeah.
But there's also that practicality. Some of the things that are recycled and upcycled and all that sometimes are harder to get.
Yeah.
A lot more expensive.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that is the problem.
So I think it's really interesting.
Yeah.
To do some of those things.
Yeah. Yeah. So there is a keeping an eye on the sustainable thing, but cost is also a problem.
Yeah. I mean, I would think most of my clients will say, I've got this amount to spend.
Yeah.
It isn't about, I mean, even the latest lady I'm working for, they've actually put a solar park next door because they have a business as well.
Yeah.
I think she's had what she wants, not renewable. I mean, things like your light fittings are all low voltage now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that come standard, don't they?
Yeah, they do, yeah.
But she had Howden's kitchens. Well, they're quite nice because they're British.
Yeah.
So there's less...
It's a low footprint. Yeah.
So, actually most of my kitchens are from Howden's.
Okay.
Because I just think it's quite good to work with a British company, really.
Yeah. Keep that carbon footprint down as well.
And they're all local guys they employ, So
that's important.
So I think there is an element of that. Yes, it's nice to have a lovely, beautiful German kitchen.
Yeah.
However, it costs a lot more. And now with us not being in the EU, that's got to have had an effect on that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, how would you encourage people to get into this field of work?
I think the thing is it has a bit of a romantic. People always say to me, "Oh, I love your job."
Yeah.
What they don't realise is that I rock up if I do house staging. Yeah. In a Pickford van.
Yeah.
Versus, that kind of van.
Yeah.
A day and a half, I go home absolutely exhausted.
Yeah.
And have a beautiful show home.
Yeah.
Invariably, there's only the team of two removal people and me and maybe one other person.
Yeah.
So actually, it's an awful lot of hard work.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not as glamorous as just the final product.
And to be absolutely honest, the interior design side is quite hard because in this area, there is a lot of people who are very comfortably off, but they're not used to using an interior designer. Yeah. In fact, it made me quite think about it really. This statement this lady said, I've never ever met an interior designer, and it stopped me in my tracks, and I thought actually there's very, very few I've ever met.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. So I would say that you've really, really got to think about it. I think if you're a young person, you need to go to a city to try and do it because realistically, it's really hard work in this rural area.
And is that to get the experience and get the
is there's not very many people.
Yeah.
So if you go to, I don't know, Manchester or anywhere like that, you're much more likely to have a bigger percentage of people with a huge amount of money. And also is quite frankly, some people who want it's all about the wanting to spend money to, to show off to your friends. So there is that element of that side of it. So which is more likely to happen in a,
in a city sort of,
or the Cheshire Belt, or
I see,
or the footballers' wives around the country. So therefore,
so considering where we are, it's quite incredible what you've achieved, given the restrictions of the geography and
3-hour drive time I had to have.
Wow!
Because not so much now for interior design, that tends to be in Cumbria.
Yeah.
But for house staging, because it just isn't the population.
Yeah, there wasn't the demand for it.
No.
Yeah.
And also
understanding.
It's trying to get the word out what home staging is.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
I mean, the number of houses I've seen lately where people do not ever sell a house empty.
Yeah. Oh, you see so many on Rightmove, don't you?
Yeah.
Vacant and empty.
Yeah. And I mean, an estate agent, even if it's a terraced house, will not reduce it less than 5,000.
Right.
And I can tell you now, it doesn't cost 5,000 to stage it.
Right.
So even if it costs you 2, you're going to make 3.
Yeah.
That 3 will pay you fees.
Yeah.
It's just bonkers.
And hopefully sell quicker as well.
Oh, and that's the biggest thing. Yeah.
Because I guess not everyone can imagine what the space could be used for.
Do you know how many people? It's amazing.
What's the stat?
79%.
79% of people viewing properties are not able to view, imagine it.
79.
Wow.
So that means if you have it empty, cluttered, dirty, squiffy, that means that you're selling it to 21% of the population.
Wow. That's incredible, isn't it? Because I look at Rightmove all the time and I just see certain properties just don't move. So you've got the ones where they look stunning, but they're asking for way too much money.
Yes.
And there isn't, it's not flying off the shelf. And then, so that's a whole other market. But then you've got the empty ones that have been there forever and they're just changing hands for local estate agents.
Yeah. And that's what saddens me is that they don't actually then come to me. Odd times they do, but invariably it's the client who says to use somebody like us.
Right.
A number of them will go, I wouldn't bother. No,
really?
Don't bother.
That's so strange. Because you would imagine that it's in their interest to sort of work with you.
Yeah.
Or have a partnership with you.
It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
So if there's anybody listening to this who wants to start that relationship, I'm happy to talk to you because I think there's a whole new market to change the concept of how an estate agent works.
Yeah, that's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
If I was selling a property or my property and someone said, well, actually, if you pay for this and we'll stage it, and if it doesn't sell within X months, then we'll reimburse you something.
Yeah.
Because that's your guarantee of why this service is good, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Although you can't predict the market, of course, so there needs to be some kind of something around that. I would say yes. Because my house is very much a reflection of me. Yeah. So I'm very aware that when it comes to selling it, I would need to change it.
You've got to take you out of it.
Yeah.
A home is the place you live. A house is what you're selling.
Yeah.
And people forget that. And I'll say to them, it doesn't matter whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that you love that pink wall. That pink wall needs to go now. Yeah. Because the next person won't like your pink wall.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's such an emotional tie, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Because but you've got to start saying, it's the house I'm selling, not my home anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the mantra that you have to.
Yeah. So, should we start moving again? Yeah. So, should we talk about awards?
Oh, wow, yeah.
Well, so, from what I understand, you've had a few.
I have, yes. Yes, I can remember in 2014, I became a House Pro and signed up for House, which is house.co.uk.
That's with a Z, isn't it?
Yeah, HOUZZ.
Yeah.
.co.uk. And they're an American company who came over here. And if you're looking for ideas, they're a bit like a sophisticated property side of Pinterest,
right?
In a way.
Oh, okay.
So, but you can look for consultants in your area to work for you for a variety of different things, from, houses to interior designers to
keep talking.
Interior designers to architects, the whole range.
Okay, yeah.
To, all different kinds of companies, kitchen fitters, wardrobe companies, all that, they all register on it.
Yeah.
So I registered, and I can remember paying £200, which actually it's still the same price, so probably it's cheap now, where it was, and I can remember thinking, oh gosh, but actually
that's a lot, yeah.
I had loads of customers. But going to awards, the point of this is that I got the year after. Mm-hmm. So for the last 9 years, I've got house for service. Okay. And I've got 52 reviews now. Right. And so that was the first one I got, which, was then on your website and everything else. Yeah. And that was quite good.
So that first award was called House for Service.
Yeah, well, they do the interior design side, but they also do for service. But for some reason, I could never work out how I anyway, that's another point. Yeah. But it meant that they recognised that every year you were doing really well, and that your customers were always feeding back.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's great. So that's
how I got for service. Yeah. And then in 2018-19, I was asked if I would like to do an awards for the Rural Business Awards. Yeah. And I had a vintage caravan. Okay. It was paisley patterned, all beautifully done up inside. Yeah. It had voyage fabrics and beautiful wallpaper and little green French grey paint, and it looked absolutely idyllic, but it was bright purple and purple paisley on the outside, so wherever you went, everybody went, oh my goodness, as this caravan went past. So I had the Sassy van, as we called it, and I used to go to shows in it, and so I won the North of England Business of the Year. Right, wow. With the Rural Business Awards.
Oh, that's amazing.
And from that point, it just changed my business, because suddenly people just took you in a different light, because you realise that, and I was quite shocked, because if you'd asked me before, I wouldn't have realised it would have had such an effect. So,
and did you have to apply for these awards, or were you nominated?
I think I was nominated quite a while ago, since 2018. But I was, and then they then ask you some questions. Yeah. So wow. Yeah, so that was really
that's awesome.
I was so amazed to actually win the Northern Regional final, and then went to the full final. Yeah, but I didn't win that one, but it was just such an honour to get to that point anyway. Yeah, but it really did change my business, and then from there, I have won a few. But 3 years ago, I won a business. Interior design professional services for the UK. Yeah, wow. Innovation and Excellence Awards.
A national award.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I've actually won it 3 times in a row.
Oh my goodness, Anne.
So yeah.
Amazing.
So I was a bit bowled over by that, And what they said was it was about the fact that every time they look at my stuff, there's more and more reviews saying exactly the same thing.
Oh, that's great. So consistent service.
Yeah. So it's quite humbling, really.
Oh, it's lovely.
So that's lovely, and I've won a one for professional services from the House Wow, and I've been nominated for quite a few. I've been nominated twice for different categories for the Evas, so that's been nice. I've been to that awards a couple of times. Yeah, but there's such an amazing array of women that you can understand why you don't win it. Yeah. But the first time I did it, I was up against a fairy godmother, and a gentleman on our table said he used a couple of F words and said, well, you were never going to against the fairy godmother, were you? Yeah. And we just fell about laughing. He just thought it was so funny, and that just sort of summed it up. You were never going to win against the fairy godmother.
So in 13 years, that's so much accomplishment.
Yeah.
So I guess it speaks volumes to doing something you're passionate about.
Oh, absolutely. I don't ever feel like I'm going to work. Yeah. So that's a nice thing. Yeah. So I think that's a lovely thing. I've met some fabulous people, been to some fabulous places, had some fabulous budgets. Yeah, so Yeah, if somebody had asked, would I have? I've got a limited company, it's VAT registered.
Yeah. So 13 years.
Yeah, so
that's
no,
amazing.
it is, and it is hard work. There has been times when it has been really, really difficult.
Yeah.
But Steve, my husband, without him, it would not be possible because he's just a stalwart that's always believed in me.
Oh, that's important.
That's really good.
And I guess these days you're not worrying about where your next client's coming from,
well,
are
that's
you?
right. Like at the moment, I've got 3 or 4 decent clients, and I'm a great believer in that. It just all seems to work out.
Yeah. So did you have times in the early days where you felt you had to say yes to everything?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's right. Desperate. You would do anything to get some work. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I don't have to do that anymore.
No.
Yeah.
And are there things that you definitely would never consider? What sort of things would they be?
Well, actually, it's the people.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes
you have chemistry with the people.
I've had odd people. I mean, there's only one gentleman where he said, I don't think I want it. And he wanted me to buy everything, but at cost.
Right.
He didn't want me to put any markup on anything. And he wanted to buy it from a wholesaler at cost.
Right.
And I said, well, it doesn't work like that because the world wouldn't go around if everybody bought it at cost and sold it to somebody at cost. How dare I?
Yeah.
So he said, I don't think I want to work with you anymore. And so I emailed him back and said, I actually totally agree with you. I no longer want to work with you.
It just wouldn't go forward, would it?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but on a whole, I've had very, very few customers that have been awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I find that small-time developers can be a bit difficult because they want to micromanage everything.
Oh, okay.
It's their baby.
Yeah.
And so therefore they want to micromanage everything. And it's like, it's very hard to say to somebody, look, I've been doing this for, 12 years now. And some before that, really.
Yeah.
You've got to trust me.
Yeah.
And
and it's hard to let go, isn't it? It's hard to sort of... Once you've done it once, then you build that trust.
Well, that's right.
So it's sort of building that relationship if you think it's
and that's a lovely thing. As I have developers now who just, right, Anne, we're doing another. Can you do that? Oh, I'm doing another. And that's where you want to get to, so that people just trust you that you're part of the service and that
that's really nice.
Yeah. No,
so how do you balance out stress?
Well, actually, I had a very, very strange time over COVID and just before, because sadly I've lost my mum, my best friend, my mother-in-law, my brother-in-law, and now I've lost my brother in the last
I'm so sorry to hear
5 years. So
that's a lot.
That's right, and had quite a few family challenges. But anyway,
right.
I actually do a lot of meditation.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, and Amanda Green's become a really good friend.
Yeah.
And she started a little tarot group, which I've never ever done before. And we just do it as sort of just as a little bit of a hobby.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that isn't telepathic.
Right.
But I can say about somebody.
Yeah.
I'm an old soul, I think that's probably what I am.
Right.
And I'll say, such and such about them.
Yeah.
And it'll happen. You know what I mean? Not in obituary, I don't mean it like that, but, somebody I once knew, her husband died, and I said, she'll never move on. Oh. And I knew she would never move on, and she didn't. Oh. I sort of have a way of being able to sort of gauge what people are thinking. Yeah. And it's quite a strange thing to sort of know you've got. Yeah. But I listen to Reiki music.
Oh, do you?
All the time. And
how did you get into that?
I just couldn't sleep. Okay. My head was just going, and I just started to
because
use
of business,
just everything. Because obviously
all the stress.
It was the business probably was the easy bit. Yeah, it was everything else that was the hard bit.
Yeah.
So so I
Oh, fairy path! Just talking about the fairy godmother.
So now we've got a fairy path. Yeah, they must have put that in. So that's lovely.
That's cute.
Yeah. So it's been an amazing journey, and but for me, you've just got to switch off. I absolutely love gardening.
Oh, do you?
And
look at these little flowers.
Yeah, so it's a fairy path. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. Sorry, gardening.
Yeah, so So doing our own house has been stressful because we've had quite a lot of issues with the people who live round about us just not wanting change.
Oh, okay.
And we have a modern bungalow, and so we built a modern block build, which wouldn't affect them because it was right in the middle of our garden.
Yeah.
But they've just been a bit of a nightmare. So that's been challenging, but I've just sort of I now let go. I don't worry about things anymore. I believe that you've just got to live for today.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment.
And not worry about it. And the more you seem to worry, the worse things
it gets. Yeah.
So I don't do that anymore.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
But the Reiki and the meditation. I've been listening this last few weeks to the quantum jumping stuff, and I've never done that before. That? Quantum jumping is where you go in a parallel universe.
I think I used to watch a program as a kid called Quantum Leap.
Yeah, well, this is
jumping universes.
Yeah, well, this is the same principle that you believing in this other reality. Yeah. Everything's done twice. So this bridge was thought about and then built. So everything's twice.
Right.
And this is
I see.
Yeah. So this is how. I haven't got any more than that. I've only done a little bit into it. But
so is that a podcast?
No, there's loads of it on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
So I've been listening to those and just about beliefs, because when we first built our house, we had a few issues with my mum's estate, which has taken 5 years to get by.
Yeah.
And so we built the house and did all this big extension, but actually we at the time don't know how we were actually going to finish paying for it.
Right.
But we've ended up with no mortgage and a house that's doubled in value.
Wow.
And we haven't got loads and loads of debt. So,
yeah, that's fantastic.
So I do believe that you sometimes have to let
run.
Yeah.
Yeah, let it
and
run.
Believe in what you want.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably why my business has succeeded.
Yeah. So is there a bit of manifestation going on?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I've always have a yearly what I'm going to do. And
yeah. Oh, look at all these things. This is awesome.
Yeah.
All these little fairy things along the way.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Oh, well, I'm very taken by Maryport.
Yeah.
And I've obviously come with the right tour guide.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, look, there's loads of flowers in there.
Oh, wow, look at this. They're like little ceramic flowers, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah, that's really pretty.
I wonder if there were one for the autistic, because of the blue, aren't they?
Yeah, do you mind grabbing a picture for me, please?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in goal setting and sort of visualising. I visualise a lot.
Yeah. That's right. And I just try to. I am a positive person.
Yeah.
I like to believe in the best. Even like the football, I was so disappointed with them because to me they're writing them off.
Yeah.
And I afterwards I put a post out and put now all you naysayers, now look, because they were just. I mean, and the commentators and everybody, I'm sure that teams like America and stuff, I'm sure they don't have all this rubbish. They just believe in their team.
Yeah.
It's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah, so, we start from a negative space.
Absolutely,
then, expect the world. Yeah. Oh, look at this. It's just beautiful. Yeah. Oh, there's a little fairy thing there.
Yeah, that says... Don't piss off the fairies.
Don't piss off the fairies.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Piss off the fairy and you've had it.
So are we closer to your car or my car? Yes, my car.
Your car. Yeah. Or you can walk through and then to mine, whichever.
Oh, we can sort of halfway. We'll go to mine because we have to go that way anyway, don't we? Oh.
So I do totally believe in that. If you've got a negative vibe, I really struggle with negative people.
Yeah, me too.
I really struggle with people who only see everything in a dark vein, and so for me it is I try to keep away from them.
Yeah, it brings your energy down as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And every time that I honestly believe in what I'm doing, everything just seems to work out, and I want to continue on that vein. So
it's a good energy to keep
so I'm hoping that I'm looking at maybe doing more podcasts, so maybe we can do some more of these. And also is I'm looking at ways of doing more residual income, so that as I'm getting no younger, there must be other ways because of my expertise. I'm thinking of looking into new ways of maybe sharing my expertise with people. So that's
I like that. So a bit of coaching, maybe.
Yeah, well, the only thing is somebody said, coaching side, fine. But what they were saying is that if you do courses, that something like 80% of the people never finish the courses.
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
So I was thinking that
that's
Top
crazy,
Secret just coming out now.
Oh, breaking news.
I'm thinking about starting an app.
Oh, are you? An interior design app?
Yeah, well, maybe even staging and stuff, and about how, you can get the best out of a room and things like that. Because there's a lot of people who would like to use you, but maybe like to try it themselves, or, so
and then call you in after.
Yeah, so that's
some ideas. That's a great idea.
So
I love that.
So that's
in the pipeline as
well. It is, yeah. So
there's no stopping you, Anne.
No, that's it. Yeah, Anne's taking over the world.
I love it.
You're getting sassied.
I'm here for it. I love it. Yeah, I love that your business is called what? Sassy
Property Styling.
Styling. I love that.
Yeah. So I'm thinking of doing some branding stuff that's sold that's so sassy.
Oh yeah.
And also is that after our last pink link meeting, I was thinking of doing some branded stuff that was the one that was chuffing Fampian. And then looking brilliant. So I thought they might be quite nice in journals and a few things that you could sell that you could So they're all pipelines at the moment.
So there's always something buzzing around in your mind,
absolutely,
isn't there?
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking about.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what do you think about networking?
I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
What do you love about it? What does it bring to your life?
Yeah, I like meeting people like yourself. I just think it's lovely, and you meet other people who bring something else to the party. Yeah. And particularly when you work on your own a lot.
Yes.
So for me, and sadly now that I've no longer got my mum and best friends died, I am lonelier than I was. There's no doubt about it. And so having a new network of people is just marvellous.
And also having the emotional connection to yourself to understand you need that.
Absolutely.
And looking for it rather than allowing that to fester is really important.
That's right. Yeah. When COVID came on, I'd just lost my mum and my best friend had cancer.
Right.
And of course couldn't see her. Yeah. And I did the Natalie Ledwell Mind Movies programme.
I've never heard of that.
All right. Well, Natalie Ledwell's one of the top, if not one of the most well-known manifestation professionals in the world, and law of attraction. Yeah, and she did a lovely little program that he went on for so many weeks. Well, while COVID was on, I couldn't go anywhere. Yeah, my husband had a gardening business, so he could go to work. So I sat there on my own. So I thought, well, I either sit there feeling sorry for myself, or I do something. So instead of us drinking, we didn't drink only at weekends.
I didn't drink either, actually.
And then I got fitter and thinner, and I did that course, and I came out feeling really positive.
Oh, good. What a good way to use your time. I love that.
So and I researched about doing Instagram and all those kind of things, just because you might as well make a positive out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So that for me, that's what I did to try and
Oh, well, thanks, Anne. This has been awesome. Yeah. I feel like there's still so much more to dig into with you. I think we've just touched the surface, so we might need a revisit.
Yeah, definitely. It'd be lovely. Yeah, you can come to my pad and have a look what I've been
up to. That'd be awesome. I never say no to that. I love being nosy at people's houses.
That brings us to the end of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed this walk around Maryport with Anne Sowerby of Sassy Property Styling. What a journey. What a woman. From owning her own toy shop at just 22 to managing town centre events to becoming a multi-award winning interior designer and homestager. Wowzers. Anne's story is one of passion, persistence and creativity. And as she shared, sometimes it's the challenges like her
dyslexic diagnosis at 30 that shapes how we learn and grow. Anne's tips on interior design, from the role of lamps and mirrors to those timeless greys and blacks, really reminds us that staging a house for sale and creating a home are two very different things. Her insight into this world was fascinating, and she was an absolute trooper, even being our guide around the beautiful and somewhat windy Maryport. A massive shout out and thank you to Anne for your time. Thank you for being so open about your journey, some parts of which were not that easy to talk about, and for being such a wonderful host in Maryport. I can't wait to come back. And to our listeners, thank you so much for joining us again on another walk and explore. If you enjoyed the conversation, please do share your thoughts with us on social media. Don't forget to spread the word, share the episode, and tell your friends all about us. Stay tuned for more inspiring walks and stories. And remember to come back and check out the next episode. Until then, keep exploring.